Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue taking on Space Marine chapters as we talk about the Novamarines. A very, very interesting chapter that I had no idea existed, but there is so much really awesome lore to them. And a lot of really good images too that I found. So if you guys have any suggestions for other Warhammer 40K topics, comment down below. With that said, let's get into 40 facts about the Novamarines. The Novamarines are a loyalist Space Marine chapter and a second founding successor chapter of the Ultramarines Legion. The Novamarines contribute a large force to the continuing battle against the expansion of the Tau Empire during the Damocles Gulf Crusade in the mid-8th century of the 41st millennium, based far to the galactic south of the Ultima Segmentum. The Novamarines were a unique quartered cobalt blue and bone white colored power armor. The chapter's rare use of the quartered livery is based upon Lucretius Corvo's own personal heraldry, further setting his first master stamp upon the chapter. The Novamarines chapter badge is a white skull on a field of navy blue, surrounded by a white stylized star that resembles an iron halo. This symbol is based upon their first chapter master's personal family heraldry of the ancient Corvo line, the dark blue, hollowed spiked circle, a stylized sunburst. The Novamarines were one of the chapters directly created by Primarch Guilliman during his second founding. As he created the chapter, the Primarch appointed Lucretius Corvo of the 90th Nova Company, 9th chapter, as its first chapter master. Corvo was a highly honored captain of the Ultramarines Legion who had led his company in countless successful engagements during the Great Crusade, and served as one of the Ultramarines champions during the vicious fighting against the Apostle Wordbearers Legion on the planet of Astagar during the Heresy. During this particularly brutal 6-day battle, Corvo led a desperate counterattack against an enemy force many times his own unit's number. His chosen band managed to destroy a traitor Word-class battle titan and break the siege. As recognition for his tenacity and heroic actions, a laurel of defiance was awarded to Corvo by Guilliman himself. This sacred object is still enshrined at the Novamarines Fortress Monastery, the Fortress Novum. Having previously granted Corvo numerous honors during his lengthy service within the Ultramarines, Guilliman trusted the Space Marine implicitly. It is for this reason that the Primarch was comfortable in assigning Captain Corvo the responsibility of command as he forged the notion of independent Space Marine chapters. At their founding, the Novamarines were given the guardianship of the pre-Imperial fortress world of Honorum by the Ultramarines Primarch. This sacred site had once marked the furthest northward extent of the 13th Legion's advance into the galactic north of the Ultima Segmentum. At their founding, the Novamarines swore an oath to defend the Ultima Segmentum from the enemies of mankind, and in almost 8,000 standard years, they have not wavered once in this charge. Though the chapter is not focused upon crusading, it often commits a portion of its resources to such cause, as well as to answer pleas of assistance from worlds far from their home. The willingness to commit their forces to action over such a broad area often means that the Novamarines are isolated for centuries at a time. In spite of this degree of isolation, their traditions and their sense of brotherhood have consistently remained strong, partly because of their strong loyalty to the Codex Astartes and the traditions established by the Ultramarines Legion. The Novamarines believe that it is their right and duty to follow the example set by their Primarch and their parent Legion. It is their understanding and firm belief that the only appropriate way to maintain this is by adhering strictly to the dictates of the Codex Astartes. The sacred text represents a beacon of their lives as it guides them through their decisions and constantly enables them to act in accordance with their duties. Keeping true to it is one of the most vital aspects of their existence as a chapter. Such loyalty to the text has aided the Novamarines in keeping their traditions largely unchanged since the time of their founding. In sharp contrast with the secular views of imperial religion, they consider the Codex Astartes to be divinely inspired work. They never comment on what deity might have inspired it, but the work is considered to be more than just a treatise on war. For the Novamarines, the tome is a guide for how to perform virtually every action. It must be considered, obeyed, and applied constantly through their lives. While they acknowledge that not all Space Marine chapters are so devoted to this rigorous application of the Codex instructions, they prefer to set themselves as an example for how it must be obeyed. Like most chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, the Novamarines are not adherents of the Imperial cult. They hold the deepest respect for the Emperor, their Primarch, and those Space Marines who have served their chapter in the past eras. They do not, however, worship any of these individuals as gods or divine beings. Rather, they believe that all of these were supremely talented men who reshaped the galaxy and are thus worthy of emulation and veneration. For the Novamarines, these people serve as the ideal example of human behavior to emulate. While this may require that they hold themselves to an impossibly high standard, they are readily accepting of the responsibility. These battle brothers gladly embrace the challenge of perfection and rigorously accept punishment and perform penance for those times that they have failed to achieve it. During their 10 millennia of service, the Novamarines have fought against countless foes and established a well-respected history of success. Though they have served the Imperium in diverse ways, one of their primary focuses has been against the threat of Xenos encroachment. Since their founding, the chapter has preserved a devotion of eliminating all Xenos, which dates back to the time of the Great Crusade. This monodominant belief, as the political factions of the Inquisition now term it, is a core of the chapter's beliefs and creates a characteristic theme through many of their most famous campaigns. The Novamarines' homeworld of Onurum has a small population made up of feral hunter-gatherer tribes. These simple and hard people have provided recruits to the ranks of the Novamarines since their founding. During a neophyte's indoctrination into the chapter, all vestiges of their former life are stripped away and replaced with the patterns of thinking and culture of those native to Ultramar. The only idiosyncrasies of Onurum's natives that is retained is the practice of ritually tattooing their skin. Each Battle Brother's skin becomes an illustration of their careers and their lives, with designs and sigils depicting where they've traveled through the galaxy and the campaigns they have fought in. When the chapter's members reunite, they often spend hours displaying their most recent tattoos, as they recount the successes and tragedies that led to the latest artwork. Their tattoos take on the quartered appearance of the Novamarines' own colors, which is in itself based upon Corvall's original personal heraldry. The chapter believes that these tattooed images serve as armor to their soul from the dangers of dark spirits, and that it is by this roll of deeds recorded on their skin, when they reach the realm of death, the Emperor will judge their worth. The Novamarines' gene seed is completely consistent with all of their progenitor chapter, the Ultramarines. In keeping with the noble lineage of Guilliman, it shows no signs of chaotic contamination or mutation, and processes the full range of Space Marine organ implants. Their reserves have been sufficient, so much so that the Adeptus Administratum is believed to have used Novamarine gene seed as the basis for the creation of several successor chapters. The care that they take to preserve their gene seed is much the same as that they show towards their sacred duty to defend the Ultima Segmenta and to carefully maintain the many ancient war machines in their care. While all Space Marines have hatred for the enemies of mankind, especially those which lurk among the stars preying on the worlds of the Imperium, the Novamarines have fostered a deep revulsion of Xenos beyond even that of most of their kind. This is fostered from 1,000 battlefields across thousands of light years of space and a history which has seen the chapter clash with the greatest and vilest of the galaxy's aliens time and time again. At first, this hatred is indistinguishable from that of a normal member of the Adeptus Astartes, forming only the staunch disdain required to face them in combat and turn away their insidious advances against the domain of the Emperor. In time it grows, encompassing all form of alien life, even those of little interest or threat to the Imperium, until eventually they cannot bear to see the Xenos live, even at the cost of prudent tactics and the strained measures of battlefield diplomacy. It is noteworthy that the Novamarines are exceptionally willing to offer their assistance to any who need it, throughout their history. This has included virtually every Imperial adept and organization. This includes the Inquisition, the Departamental Munitorum, and even rogue traders. Even more noteworthy is that it has also often included some Space Marine chapters. Upon countless occasions, the Novamarines have dispatched substantial numbers of units to aid the Battle Brothers of other chapters in overcoming threats far beyond the boundaries of the Ultima Segmentum. In spite of their extensive history of engagements, the Novamarines chapter has successfully maintained a substantially well-equipped armory. This includes a number of pieces of war gear and numerous vehicles that have been maintained since the time of their founding. Some of this equipment has been preserved intact and functional since the time of the Great Crusade. While not all of these are used on regular basis, their supply of Terminator armor is sufficient to equip the entirety of the First Company. Similarly, the chapter has a large enough supply of dreadnoughts that they have been able to preserve the living memories of many of their chapter's most worthy battle brothers. The chapter's forge continuously spends its time maintaining and reconstructing these reserves so that they never are found wanting in times of dire need. In the same way, the chapter's standard war gear has been well preserved across the millennia. Their collection of war relics have also continuously expanded. Within the hollow halls of their fortress monastery, there are hundreds of unique designs collected throughout their history. In times of desperation or to honor a warrior's success, these relics are selectively assigned for field use. As many of these items are beyond the specific scope of the Codex Astartes, they are seldom fielded even by those who have earned them. And those were 40 facts about the Novamarines. There's going to be a part 2, and again, we have another Space Marine chapter that really utilizes tattoos. I wish I was a better painter, so I can give my Space Marines some cool face tattoos. Because if you look online for tattoos on Space Marines, or like on figures the size of, a Space Marine, it is incredible what some people can do. Like, I wish I had those skills. I'm gonna try, but now we have another chapter that also has tattoos as a part of their lore. So again, guys, if you guys have any comments, if you guys have any suggestions, comment down in the section below. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by your request. If you want a video for us, to make, just comment down below. And again, thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. Because you like, comment, and share, you're telling YouTube that you want more Warhammer 40K content from us, and you help us out. If you want to help us out a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. We're doing 2 a day, and it would really help out if you can give us $1 a month. If you can't, that's cool. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it really helps out. And don't forget to hit the little bell notification button. With that said, I'll catch you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.